as we're pleased to be joined here in studio by Bill Patrick and Drew Derenbacher from the United Way of Central New York, board members that have put together a charity event 2 weeks from today at the Calvary Club. You did this last year, boys, where you played, 102 holes of golf in a day to raise money. This year, you're upping it, 103, to signify 103 years of the United Way helping in this area. How did this whole idea come about? Bill, we'll start with you.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, thanks so much for having us. So last year, Drew and I were putting our heads together and saying, hey, what's a great way to raise money and raise awareness for United Way? And we're both avid golfers, so we said, well, what better way than to put our proverbial money where our mouth is and play 102 holes, one hole for every year of the United Way's existence in our community, being the conductor of the Human Services Orchestra. So we were really thankful for the Cavalry Club to support us. We went out 5 o'clock in the morning, and 12 hours later came through with 102 holes in the books, some very sore hands, back, and feet, and we're able to raise $21,000 for the United Way.
Him saying sore back and feet, Steve, how many holes do you think you could get through?
I think like 9 is about my sweet spot these days, given my back injury.
That's an honest answer.
So you guys came up with this idea, Drew. I'm sure it sounded like a great idea before you did it. Afterwards, were you like, was that a great idea? I mean, how in all seriousness, how rewarding was it to do this?
Well, thanks, Steve, for having us on. It was great. I will say during the event, we got there at 5 in the morning, and it had rained the night before.
Oh, okay.
So the superintendent at Calvary came out and said, I'm sorry, boys, but you got to walk. So we had to do it on foot. So during it was a little bit tiring, but at the end it was just so rewarding to see the impact we had. We raised over $20,000 for the United Way, and it was just a wonderful event and enough to get us back at it this year. Although we hope the weather's good enough where we can hop in some carts.
Were you expecting $20,000? Was that the goal? I mean, that seems like a lot of money for year one of an event. Were you surprised with the support, I guess, you got from the community?
We were thrilled with the support. I think overwhelmed is a good way to put it. It was just something that Bill, to his credit, I think came up with, and we kind of grew together, and we were very pleased with the result.
Yeah, I mean, it was a real, I think, compelling story, right? You reach out to people and say, how many holes of golf are you going to play in one day? And then when you amplify that with the message of the United Way and the importance that we play in the local community, it was a slam dunk, and the response was thrilling, and we're just very grateful for everyone's support. So
you bring up the message and the initiatives and the mission of the United Way in this area. Can you speak to that a little bit? For those who don't know, we hear United Way, but I mean, you see the impact it makes in this community day in and day out. How is the United Way affecting our community right here in Syracuse and Central New York?
Well, I'll start and I'll let Drew build on it. But I think for us, we view the United Way as the conductor of the Human Services Orchestra locally. We do so much impactful work with so many different community organizations, and there are so many in our community who are in need of a little bit of help. So I think for the United Way, many of the services that our community interacts with on a daily basis, we're supporting those organizations and providing the right level of, whether it's financial support, knowledge, connectivity, et cetera, to make sure that those other organizations are able to flex to meet the demands that the local community has at any given moment. So,
Drew, how'd you get involved with the United Way? How'd you get connected?
Sure. So I got connected with the United Way about 3 years ago through Nan Eaton, our executive director.
Sure. I know Nancy
her for a long time. And so she just sent me an email and said, hey, I'd love to have you come sit on one of our committees and get to know a little bit more about the organization. She brought me out to an event, and 3 years later, I've been a board member for 2 years, and it's great. It's awesome.
How much training goes into this event? You're both avid golfers, but 103 holes in a day, that's not something you're used to doing. Do you have to train ahead of time so that you can physically make it through?
Well, I think Drew and I would probably play golf as much as humanly possible if given the opportunity. But
this is a treat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But that being said, there's no human way possible to effectively train for 103 holes in any one given day. So, again, water and Advil we found to be two of our biggest allies in this little pursuit. But raising the green, we're very confident it's going to be a successful endeavor.
What hole did the fatigue start kicking in on you last year? Was there like a point
question.
where you were
Great question.
We whipped through probably almost half of it. I'd say probably the first 3 rounds in a couple hours, and we were feeling great. And then it started raining again, and then once we hit the halfway point, it got a little tough. But
and to really make things crazy, if you recall the Canadian wildfires last
Yes.
year,
Oh, right.
There was smoke in the air while we're doing this, this raising the green exercise. So
Did you guys carry your own bags, or was there some other help?
No,
Oh,
we
man,
did.
you walked and carried your.
Wow.
Look at this.
Yeah, we did.
I would not have survived that. If anybody's been listening to the show today, they start feeling the fatigue at hole 82. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, that's right.
What did you learn from last year to maybe apply to this year to make the event bigger and better? And I would assume you hope to carry this on into the future. Did you tweak some things in terms of how it's going to go? I guess in 2 weeks.
That's a great question. So last year we kind of came up with it almost on a whim. I think maybe 4 to 6 weeks ahead of time. So it was kind of crunch time to get it together. This year we started planning back in January, February. So we've had a few more months to prepare, get some outreach to potential donors, coordinate with the Calvary Club, who's been excellent. We've built a website, raisingthegreen.com, where you can go. You can learn more about the United Way. You can pledge to support us if you'd like, either per hole or a set amount. And we put in some more planning, and I think we're really ready to go.
I'm on the website right now. Very easy. I was going to say, how do you go about supporting you two? But you just go to the website, right? And you can make a pledge right there. Again, it's raisingthegreen.com. What do you want people to know about, the United Way that, for what we haven't touched on yet? What do you want our listeners to know about the United Way?
Well, I think it's what I would emphasize is we've been in this community for 103 years.
Yeah.
Right. And we've been at the forefront of taking care of the people who live and work in this community. So, for Drew and I, as avid golfers, this is a thrilling opportunity to raise money to give back to that very important mission. So anything you'd add, Drew, to that?
Completely agree.
Where do you see this event going? Is this something you would like to continue for, can't continue it for too long because you add a hole every year.
Yeah.
Is this something you see, carrying on for 10, 20 years type of thing?
I think it's something we'd like to do with each anniversary, each milestone. There are some ways, I don't want to use the word cheating, but you can play a couple balls on each par 3 to cut down on some of the holes, cut down on some of the time. But I think we'd love to do it each year, try and make it bigger each year and try and reach more people.
Is there any thought about, maybe expanding it to more people and, almost doing like a golf relay type of thing where maybe somebody plays 18 and then you hand off, to the next guy, that sort of thing?
We've given that some thought. For this year, we are inviting any members of the community who'd like to serve as an ambassador to join us. So, you don't have to play all 103 holes, but it's a great opportunity to come out, raise some money, raise some awareness. And I think in the future, we're considering that, the marathon relay concept and how we might continue to both broaden the outreach as well as the financial impact to United Way.
Yeah, you guys are onto something here. It's a great idea. Again, you raised over $20,000 last year. Let's do it again. Let's even up that total this year. It's set for June 26th at the Calvary Club. And again, it's called the Raising the Green event. Anything we didn't touch on, gentlemen, that you want to get across before we let you go? All right, we got through it all. Again, go to raisingthegreen.com. You can make a pledge right there. Bill and Drew, thanks so much for coming on. This is a great event. Looking forward to being a part of it on June the 26th. We'll take a time out. We'll wrap things up right after this on ESPN Radio.